Buen Camino. A lot of videos out there about mistakes you've been making on the Camino. I wanted to throw ours out too. I've done 4 Caminos, coming up on the 5th one this fall. And the first one that Heidi and I did, we did everything wrong. I mean, we were miserable. But at the very end, we looked at each other and she said to me, we need to go back and do this again the right way. So here's 20 different mistakes that we made on the Camino. First mistake, too much weight. I think our first Camino, our pegs weighed probably 20 pounds. Then we filled up water and food, and it was just miserable. We ended up stopping and shipping a bunch of stuff back home. And again, in 2023, when we did the Camino for the second time, I spent most of my time on the Meseta thinking about how could I lighten my pack. And we were not too bad. We started out around 14 or 15 pounds. We dumped a bunch of stuff in Zubiri. I think we got our packs down to about 11 or 12 pounds, and I still wanted to go lighter. Mistake number 2, carrying more than 1 liter of water. Now, there are stretches, of course, especially on the Primitivo, where you go and you're going to have more than 1 liter of water. But a lot of these backpacks come with these water bladders. I'm not a fan. We did it our first Camino. We had a 3-liter water bladder. We filled it up. I mean, when you consider the weight of this, it's 7 pounds. It's just too much additional weight. My bag empty right now is 7 pounds. 700 milliliter bottle is usually what we carry, and fill it up along the way. There's plenty of places to do that. Mistake number 3, worrying too much about the weight of the backpack and not about the weight on my middle. Every pound that you have additional on your body translates to about 4 pounds of excess force on your knees every step. So yeah, I can get my backpack down to 7 pounds, but I need to get me down to a certain weight. You're going to lose some weight on the Camino, most likely. But again, don't worry about just the pack weight. Worry about your weight too. Try to get in the best shape that you can before you go. Mistake number 4, hiking boots. Now, these are not the exact pair I wore on the first Camino. I left those on Mount Kilimanjaro. You don't need hiking boots. Trail runners, Heidi will swear by just her tennis shoes. She did just fine with a couple of Caminos with just tennies. Mistake number 5, a heavy sleeping bag. Now, for an example, this is a down sleeping bag. It's actually a pretty nice one. It weighs 3.5 pounds just by itself. We did that our first Camino. It was a bad idea. There are some sleeping bags that are actually pretty light. The ones we usually take are about 1.1 pounds. They're about $100 on Amazon, not too bad. I'm going to be going with a sleep liner this year, which is about 9 ounces. Number 6, a cheap rain jacket. I thought, we have these anti-gravity gear ones that are 6 ounces, 100% waterproof. They were pretty pricey. I thought, well, I'm going to save some money. I'm going to go with a cheaper. I tested it ahead of time. I thought it was going to be great. It wetted through so quickly, I was soaked. So spend a couple extra bucks, get a good rain jacket or poncho if you're one of those people. Mistake number 7, not training enough. You do need to do some training beforehand. Obviously, you can't really prepare for all of the hills in Spain, especially here in Michigan. We're a pretty flat state. There are some hilly places here and there, but nothing's going to prepare you for those mountains. But get some training in you. Do some 3-mile walks. Do a couple of 10-mile walks before you go. Number 8, the wrong backpack. Now, I have tried a different backpack every time. This is the one I used on the Portuguese. I love the frameless backpacks because they're so lightweight. But what I found is that I spend most of my time adjusting how they fit. And yeah, I sacrificed the frame and lighten my pack by a pound, but I made myself miserable by just constantly having to fuss with it. It doesn't ride as well as a framed backpack, and there are some really good framed backpacks that are lightweight. Number 9, not planning enough rest days. Your body is going to be pretty exhausted every single day. You're walking, whatever distance you choose to. We tend to stay right around 25 kilometers or less. But your body needs a rest to recharge, to store up more glycogen. We did 2 rest days across the French route, and I felt like we could have used a couple more. Mistake number 10, doing too many miles in one day. We met a few people in Borda. They raced through and did the entire French route in 28 days. And it was just too fast. This is not a race. You spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy preparing to go to this. Slow down, enjoy it. It is a pilgrimage. Give yourself that time. Number 11, not being careful going downhill. I know a lot of people will go without using trekking poles. I use one, and the big reasons I do it is going downhill and in muddy situations, and it's very, very helpful. It will prevent a lot of injuries. Most of your injuries are going to be going downhill, especially in the rain, slippery conditions. So you want to make sure that you protect yourself. You don't want to end your Camino before it's even started. Mistake number 12, bringing an extra outfit for the town. We did that. Never really used it that much. Didn't like it. Didn't like the weight. You're good with just 2 outfits. I don't care if you're rotating them or if you've got one hiking outfit, one evening sleeping outfit, whatever. But yeah, nobody's going to care if you're dressed up. It's just not a thing on the Camino. So don't worry about that extra outfit. Mistake number 13, power banks. These things are so heavy. We took a couple of them. We dumped them on 3rd day. They're just way too heavy. If you need to worry about your phone's battery, go on airplane mode. Save the charge. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to charge it up at the albergues when you stop every night. Get a new phone so that the battery will last. My phone battery usually lasts a couple of days, and I take a lot of pictures. But these, I don't think they're worth the wait. Number 14, walking too fast. Again, it's not a race. Take your time. You're going to wear yourself out really quickly, really early, and then by the time the end of the day is there, you're not going to want to make that extra push. You're not going to have that energy. And again, the faster you walk, the more chances of you having injuries. Mistake number 15, not making connections with others. When I went the Portuguese route with my friend, there were a lot of times everybody would be visiting and he would be sleeping in bed, listening to the tigers, and that's his thing. He's kind of an introvert, and that's fine. But this is an opportunity to make connections with other people. And I always say this, the Camino is the great leveling field. It's where people of all walks of life, of all abilities, all meet on the same level. And we've made some wonderful friends that we keep in contact with. So make those connections with other people. 16, afterwards, I forget the details of my trip. I have flashbacks. It's like, oh, I remember this. Where was that at? All right. Either if you're a log person or a diary person, sketch, whatever, make some notes. The other option is I have an app on my phone. It's called the Timestamp, and it's just like your photo app, except on the top right corner, you get the date and time and the location and GPS coordinates of where that is. So what I try to do is I'll take a regular picture or a video, and then I'll switch over to that app and take a timestamp app so that I can look back and say, okay, that's where that was. And it helps me remember all of those things. All right, number 17, forgetting to plan ahead when it comes to food. Remember, on Sundays, most things are closed, although in some of the bigger towns, you're going to find some restaurants. So what we've done to kind of prepare for the last few is we take a freeze-dried meal with us, and that's our emergency ration. Or instead of that, go to the grocery store on Saturday, buy whatever you're going to need for breakfast the next morning, for dinner the next day. There's tons of options that you can have, but carry some food with you, because there's going to be a situation where you're not going to be able to get coffee or food, and it's going to make that day miserable for you. Number 18, not making reservations at the bottlenecks. The Camino is becoming super popular. Over 500,000 people did it last year and the year before. And you're always going to hear those rumors and those reports, hey, this town's all filled or whatever. And you don't want to be exhausted after 15 miles, stopping into town and not having a bed. So especially in the first few days and that last week, you're going to want to have some reservations. Just my suggestion. And those rest days too. You might want to get a nice room, a nice hotel, and give yourself a break. Number 19, assuming that everybody there speaks English or whatever your language happens to be. Learn some Spanish before you go. There are some smaller towns you're going to reach where, although they're geared to take care of pilgrims, they're not going to speak that much English. So you're going to need to know some Spanish. Simple hello, goodbye, ordering food. You'll get the gist. And the last one, number 20, not taking enough breaks. Yeah, there's a lot of people that, okay, I'm only going to take a break after 5 miles, or I'm only going to take one break in the middle of the day. All of these towns, a lot of them exist because of the Camino. It's been going on for 1,200 years. So support the local economy just like you would at home. Stop in those small businesses. Even if you're just getting a coffee or a snack, just take a break. Give your feet a rest. Visit. But anyway, those are mistakes that we've all made. If you've made some mistakes that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments. And hopefully that's a helpful situation for helpful suggestions for you. And I really hope you have a good Camino.